Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch Rumble brought to you by DX Racer and Razor. I'm Storm, back with Hurix for the winner's bracket final. It's going to be Rogue up against EnVyUs. And Hurix, I think this is a matchup that a lot of people were looking forward to here. So what's your take on this matchup here?
Well, this is going to be a tough one, I think. I mean, looking at this, the maps that we kind of expect to be pulled out are going to be pulled out, as Gibraltar coming through for Rogue, as they already were pretty solid on that early on. And then Numbani is going to be the map that EnVyUs takes out. But both teams have come a little close on their maps of choice. And then that last map is going to be Lijiang Tower. And I'm curious to see who actually is going to come ahead in this one, because I think this is going to be a pretty fun matchup to watch, as this is definitely the one I was personally looking forward to throughout this entire tournament, and really excited that I get to cast it.
Well, it looks like Envy does choose to be on defense to get this thing underway here. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. But yeah, like I said, probably one of the most hyped matches that we're going to have today, or at least throughout this tournament. EnVyUs up against Rogue. Rogue really just on a rampage throughout their series. I think they're on a 32 series win streak right now. EnVyUs going to try to, put a stop to that. Do you think they have the chance? I mean, they have a chance to, but do you think that's going to be able to happen here?
I mean, they certainly have a chance. I don't see it happening, though. I think Rogue will be able to come out on top just ever so slightly. I mean, Rogue's still just one of those really solid teams. EnVyUs definitely has the threats to work with to be able to shut down Rogue, but I just don't think it's going to come together. I think Rogue are going to be able to take this one, which should be noted that none of these predictions have been too well so far. So me saying Rogue, this might be the upset of the year.
Well, Rogue did pretty much steamroll through the bracket today, taking down Splice 2-0, then beating out Cloud9 as well. Envy, they kind of struggled a little bit with Immortals. It looked like Immortals could very well have taken, I guess King's Row wasn't very close, but Numbani was a little bit closer. So showing some weak spots potentially that I think Rogue might be able to capitalize upon. But while we do wait for this match to get underway, I do have an update from the lower bracket. I have been told that LG Evil is currently up 1-0 over Cloud9, which is a little bit of a shock, but LG Evil is kind of the lower bracket runners. They're always doing well, even if they do lose in the first round and head to the lower bracket. So excited to see what's going to happen there. But so I'm assuming you're going with Rogue in this pick. I'm probably going to have to say the same. Go with that pick as well. I mean, you can't underestimate Rogue. Despite looking a little shaky against Cloud9 on Gibraltar earlier today, on the defense, that is, they looked so good on offense. So excited to see them up against Envy here as well.
Yeah, really excited to see who actually makes it through on that bottom side of the bracket, which we will go into after this match. But I mean, that's going to be pretty interesting, as we still have 4 incredibly strong teams that could all make it through. I mean, LG Evil is probably the team I wouldn't expect to make it all the way through, but they're still looking very solid on the bottom of the bracket. As we have mentioned, it's just one of those teams that is able to run through the bottom side of bracket pretty consistently. But Selfless is still involved. Immortals is still in there. Cloud9 obviously just got sent there pretty recently, so they're still down there as well. And I mean, this has been a pretty stacked tournament, and because of that, the playoffs now, we're getting to that stage where things are getting down to the nitty-gritty, and already we're seeing that Rogue versus Team EnVyUs matchup that people have been like foaming at the mouth for. I know I have, but we'll have to see. I mean, Wins had a great performance that this past Gibraltar experience against Cloud9, 7 minutes tweeting, and we'll have to see if maybe he's going to be able to have that same performance, but pulling out a card for himself,
It's definitely possible here. But of course, both these teams already in the top 3. So guaranteed at least a share of that prize pool, the $10,000 prize pool, brought to you guys, of course, by DX Racer and Razor and Rivalcade, the organization putting it on here for all these teams. But like you said, getting down to the nitty gritty with all these teams, and finally getting down to our final 3 as this tournament starts to progress. But on the defense here, right away, Envy going to be going with pretty standard setup from them. Mickey going to be on the Diva here, with Taimu back on that Roadhog.
Here's what's interesting, though, is that Rogue historically has been pretty solid on this first point. At least so far today, we saw them able to deal with Cloud9 pretty effectively on this first point, both on attacking and defense. But now they're going to go against EnVyUs on this map, where EnVyUs in the past, this has been their spot. I mean, this has been it for EnVyUs. They've been able to hold out teams like crazy on this first point, and it was only in that hangar phase where they really kind of fell a little bit short. But now going on to this first point, I mean, we'll have to see if maybe EnVyUs has cleaned things up a little bit, and then maybe already end a pick from Taimu actually on Dasun.
Definitely a good start, getting himself a little bit of that extra charge up there in terms of his ultimate, along with Chips, who's already nearing that 30%. But, you know, just buying themselves a little bit of time. That's probably another 30 seconds knocked off the clock here just from that early pick here as they start to move up under the bridge. Looking for a chance to pounce potentially with Nox moving in there. Takes a big chunk of damage to get things started. He dives into the server room to get to safety, though. Gets the health back and is going to back off of that one. Probably looking to loop around here and look for that high ground potentially. No, they're just going to dive straight back into it. They get Mickey out of the mech to get this thing started. Wins, though, the first to fall. As Taimu again with the flank from the high ground finds that first pick.
And they're backing them up a little bit. Nico's still finding that kill, though. And he's charging in. Has that Dragon Blade at the ready. He's going to pull it out. Finding that kill on Louis as he charges forward, looking for Coco. They find that kill. They should find Harry Hook as well, and Rogue is just walking right over EnVyUs at this point.
Nico with the quickest Dragon Blade we've seen in quite some time. That was super quick coming out from him. They find a late kill as well in the time. Just looking for those short spawn kills, of course, is Louis going to be taken down. Actually, a couple of them still here. That's going to be a very late one onto the Reinhardt here, as it doesn't look like Coco's going to be lasting too much longer, so they will be able to move forward with the payload and have a lot to actually work with for the next fight, Urix.
And we'll have to see if AKM actually does get into position as well, as he's able to get up top on this ship, does have that tac visor ready, Transcendence ready to go as well. So really with kind of no options for EnVyUs, they're not going to be able to really do anything. They have Mickey actually swapping over, so he will be able to contest that high ground. Might be able to take out AKM, but soon already finding 2 kills with the pulse bomb.
That's a big pickup. They don't even probably need to use the tactical visor from AKM. It looks like Louis finds a couple kills for himself, but he is so low and in a rough spot here. Yeah, Nico isn't going to be able to find that kill for himself. A late kill at that, as it looks like they might not even have an opportunity to get a full regroup. They should be able to get back onto it, but they really don't have much to work with other than the nano boost to keep them alive for the time being. Sound barrier on the way as well from Harry Hook.
Tac visor coming out for AKM, looking for some kills. Harry Hook going to be able to throw that away with a sound barrier as Taimu finds that pick. He's so good with those hooks today, Storm, and that's going to be Rogue falling as Mickey finds 3. 2 for Taimu, and that last kill going out. That's going to be Louis finding that one, and man, kills all over the board for EnVyUs as they push that one back, though. It's still Rogue with an excellent time, and if they're able to cap out on this next point, which might actually be a possibility. I mean, Unko already dropped out the Transcendence, but Nico still has that Dragon Blade ready, Primal Rage ready to go with Nox as well, and no sound barrier from Harry Hook, so
I mean, that was a must-win fight. Otherwise, it would have been about 5:30 to work with to complete the map for the side of Rogue. So that is just unacceptable if that was the case. There's a Dragon Blade, though, coming out from Nico. He takes a lot of pressure. Earthshatter comes out from Coco. He connects. He actually comes up with a kill onto Nico, who had fully unsheathed that blade. So that's a little unfortunate. There's a dive as well come out from the side of Mickey as he picks up a kill onto Unko. And again, EnVyUs starting to get in their groove here with a couple more kills and a couple one-team fights.
Louis backs them out, but does get taken out by Soon. Does have the pulse bomb as well, as they're going forward and looking for a little bit more, as Louis is not going to be able to get in position, I don't think, in time. But he's actually swapping over to the Tracer now. He makes that adjustment. Just under 3 minutes, and we do see EnVyUs still controlling that high ground with Taimu just sitting up there. And they does get it a little bit contested with Nico jumping up, but they don't find anything. Coco already found a kill onto AKM, and it's EnVyUs holding out in the second phase of the map.
Well, they dropped the nano boost onto Mickey as well, expecting more targets to kind of be there for him. But like you saw, Coco with the fire strike from downtown was able to find that kill onto AKM, I believe it was. So they were able to just make them back off of that one. 2:30 remaining here, and starting to come up on a few ultimates for the side of the defense right now. Just need to be very wary of Soon, who last time came up with a double kill with the pulse bomb. Wouldn't be a good start to the fight for EnVyUs if that happens again here.
Going forward, Rogue definitely has an opportunity here. Transcendence, Sound Barrier, both at the ready. They have to take out Harry Hook pretty early on so that he doesn't try to turn the momentum back into EnVy's favor. And Mickey dropping down has the Primal Rage. They're actually going to unleash the Sound Barrier here, Storm.
Oh, Pulse Bomb's out there, doesn't find anything, but Louis the first to drop. There's the Sound Barrier finally coming through from the defense, but it's a Tac Visor and a Transcendence out here from the side of Rogue. Trying to clean this up. AKM finds a kill, finds 2 kills onto both supports here, as Taimu and Coco and Mickey, the lone survivors here, they're not going to be lasting too much longer, Jurix. That should be the second checkpoint. Finally secured Louis. Louis was actually the first one picked up, so he is actually going to be back to the fight, but not really going to be doing too much here, as that will be about 3 minutes here to be able to complete the map for Rogue.
But EnVyUs were able to steal away a lot of time from Rogue in that second phase, and now we'll have to see if maybe Rogue can make the most of the momentum that they've created for themselves. But, you know, looking at the ultimate economy, I mean, Coco having that Earth Shatter here, certainly going to apply a lot of control when you think that Nox doesn't have that ability to get that barrier down. Coco should be able to find a lot of value with that. So we'll have to see if he's going to be able to find a lot of people, or if, you know, that scattered attack there from the dive will be enough to kind of get away from that Earthshatter, finding a lot of value. And they're already finding these kills. So Rogue still, despite the fact that
they're destroying them right
options, they're just, again, lawnmowing them.
They seriously are. There's no opportunity whatsoever for EnVyUs to get out of their base right now, as Wins, of course, just, you know, taking selfies on the payload right now. Pulse Bomb's out there. Let's find a bit of damage onto Coco, but they just backs up into the base. There's a Nano Hog out from Taimu. Earthshatter comes through from Coco. They do find that kill onto Soon. With the Nano Hog out, finds the mech on Nico as well. So that should be able to finally secure some sort of defense on the side of EnVyUs. But even so, here, one team fight will secure the map for Rogue.
Cam getting that attack visor online as Nico needs to charge up that Dragon Blade pretty soon, but Unco does have that Transcendence, so they will be able to go forward along with this pick here. They should be at a pretty strong advantage, but they have to take out Louis. Recall forced out from him, as he's going to be still in that backline, forcing AKM to turn, and Nico still finding that kill initially, as I think that Louis getting aggressive again.
I mean, that's definitely it. They still have a Transcendence, or Transcendence is out. They still have a Tactical Visor to work with in the Primal Rage to knock him back into the base. There's the sound barrier from Harry Hook, but he's basically the only one that's hit by it. AKM with the Attack Visor up top, picks up 2 kills. No one's going to be here in time, and that will be Rogue, completing the map with 1 minute and 11 seconds. A little bit slower as opposed to what we saw against Cloud9, but even so, EnVyUs, you know, trying their best to make a hold, but a minute 11, man, that's an okay amount of time to work with, I'd say, for Rogue.
Especially considering how they were able to just kind of push through EnVyUs on that first point. I think we could very well see them in overtime, if it gets to that stage, doing something a little bit similar to what they did against Cloud9, but certainly I don't think they're going to get as much distance out of it. But we'll have to see, as against EnVyUs is going to be a tough matchup. Now EnVyUs with a great opportunity here to try to make a statement on Gibraltar here, of course, Rogue's map of choice. And if they actually perform well on this map going into Nimbani, it's going to be pretty interesting, because I still think this is, I don't know, kind of like 60-40 for each team. I think, honestly, this is kind of 60% favor for the side of Rogue, where you go into Nimbani and then maybe EnVyUs has a little bit of an opportunity. Maybe that one's more 50-50, but I think ultimately Rogue should be able to take this series. Just have to see how they defend, and EnVyUs able to go the distance with 111. I have to remember, I mean, C9 had a better time than that.
Yeah, they did have a little bit better time than that. And the thing about this is, though, and that we keep mentioning, is that there's so many threats from Rogue that if you take care of one of them, you know, then Nico turns the corner. If you don't take care of him, then if you actually do manage to take care of the Genji, then there's AKM with the big tac visor. So many threats coming out from the DPS players, and even from Unco as well, and the entire team. We've seen Wins start to really pile up some kills with the Zenyatta, especially on the latter half of their push on offense here. So EnVyUs is going to be very hard pressed to be able to come up with anything. We'll see if Taimu wants to stick with this Hanzo pick. Probably not going to be the case without the Zarya, but we'll see if that's going to be the case here as they start to come out of the base here, and it looks like he's actually going to be sticking with it for the time being.
Yeah, this isn't the first time that we've seen a Hanzo on this map. I mean, dating back months and months. This has been a nice pick out onto Soon there, Storm, and looks like Taimu going to be sticking with this a little bit longer. I mean, we typically do see it just to check that top side in that room where, you know, a lot of teams kind of stick out just initially, but Taimu has just been so lethal with it on King's Row that they're just going to pull it out here as well, and he's going to be incredibly valuable on this selection, trying to shut down Nox now as he's going into the barrier, but Nox finds that kill.
He's slowed a little bit when he is ready, readying to fire up an arrow. So he was obviously taken out there by Nox, who was just inside of the bubble, so wasn't able to find anything with that once. But just like that, off of that kill, you know, the threat that Taimu presents kind of makes them, you know, pull back a bit. But once they found that kill for themselves from Nox, they just continued to press with that one. And now Taimu moving over to the Roadhog. with the triple tank setup, maybe a little bit more favorable for them to actually start to move forward, but already a minute off the clock here.
And they've still been, I mean, they've been finding picks against Rogue, but they haven't been able to really kind of do anything with it. Rogue's still been able to just keep contesting, jumping on the point, stalling it out. It looks like this time around, they're finally going to get some headway for themselves, that they find 3 in quick succession. And EnVyUs now just looking for that kill onto AKM, and they're finally going to be able to push it through this car wash section of the map here on this first point. And a little update from the bottom side of the bracket, C9 tied up with LG Evil at the moment, 1-1 in that series, and we'll be able to provide you with more updates as that progresses, and certainly looking forward to see who comes away with that series, as you could very well see one of them competing up against the loser of this series. But AKM now already up with an opening kill, soon getting Coco down pretty low, finding that kill as well.
I don't really think they need to use too much else. Wins goes ahead and pops the Transcendence there just to ensure that they secure this one. But AKM really coming up with some kills, even without the tactical visor there. They didn't need to use Dragon Blade either. So just a pulse bomb being used and Transcendence as they make another minute just disappear from the clock. EnVyUs, not a lot of time to work with, and you got to think the big picture right now, because you only get the extra 230, then another 90 seconds from the second checkpoint to try to match a minute 11. You got to try to be coming up with these a little bit quicker, I think, if you're EnVyUs. So really struggling to try to make it towards that first checkpoint as Louis under a lot of heat. He is going to be taken down. That's a nice pick. And again, they don't even need to use any ultimates. They do lose soon and Nico, which is a couple of big picks for EnVyUs. Do they want to push in here, being outnumbered still, Hirix?
Well, Discord is out, and onto these tanks. I mean, Coco really has to find value to be able to shut these guys down who are above him, and AKM dropping down. I'm not sure about that drop, but nonetheless, it is going to work out for them as they find that kill onto Chips, and now it's just going to be time.
Oh my goodness! Dude, AKM is just fragging out right now, but Louis on the other end, like you were saying, he has his own. AKM, I thought they had that, Hirix. I didn't mean to interrupt you on that. I thought they actually had that one because AKM turned around the corner, got the kill onto Taimu as well, but in the end, it was Louis coming up big there for EnVyUs.
Yeah, I just don't think that AKM should have given up that high ground positioning that he had. I mean, a strong advantage if Louis would have entered the fight. He would have been able to just duck against that, like that kind of walkway a little bit and just be able to kind of coast through that fight and certainly be able to kind of help out Unko up top as well. But Unko now on the Ana, and they're going to be going forward soon. Again, finding that first pick onto Louis. That's going to give them that option to get aggressive and look for that kill on the Chips in the background.
I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Yeah, Chip's going to be taken down. Coco trying to dive to help out his team, but he's just going to be taken care of swiftly there. 2:44 now to work with in the hangar phase. And again, got to think about the extra 90 seconds compared to a minute 11 being, on the time here, or in the time bank for Rogue, but not a whole lot to really worry about in terms of ultimates moving forward. If you are the side of EnVyUs, closing in on a Transcendence from Wins, but even so, they have a couple of ultimates to work with. I'm looking for something big here, potentially from Coco with an Earthshatter this time around, but there's Nico finding the first kill there onto Taimu already, and these opening picks for Rogue is such an opportunity for them to move forward. But there's a shadow from Coco, finds a kill off of that one here, and I think with that they have an opportunity. But no, AKM with the attack visor has a nano visor, picks up 2 kills for himself, make it 3 as Mickey going to be dropping for the 4th kill, and Coco going to be taken care of pretty quickly as well.
Redemption for AKM as he comes alive with that nano visor, and this time it's not going to be Louis turning things back around, and Soon has done a pretty good job so far of actually trying to get as many pulse bombs onto Louis as possible to try to mitigate that extra threat potential of Louis, who I mean has definitely been performing, but nonetheless we'll have to see. I mean, coming out this top side, this has been a problem for EnVyUs as they're going through.
Oh my goodness,
Soon again, man.
This guy, I mean, that's just good pressure from Nox. Nox has been creating space, I guess is the best way to put it, for Rogue, because he just jumps up there and you see exactly where Coco was pushed. He was just pushed off to the side, and that's also because Nico's up there as well, and then Soon just joins the fray with the pulse bomb. Like second or third time now, we've just seen him open up the fight with the pulse bomb kill and basically secure it for his team to follow up with even more off of that one. Only using one ultimate as well. Rogue looking very good to be able to take this map.
Pushing EnVyUs back once again. I mean, they're just not able to contest this high ground at all. I mean, AKM up here with Wins, and they're actually running Wins on that Zenyatta with Unko on the Ana, and this is something that they don't do all too often at all, and they're going to drop down, contest that point with the Transcendence coming out, and AKM still with that Tac Visor Nano Boost coming out onto it as well, and they might be able to clean up EnVyUs again.
Nico with the double kill self-destruct here. And like you said, that high ground, they just can't get it because it's all about Nico coming up there, knocking the Reinhardt out of place along with Nox as well. 22 seconds remaining. A lot of ultimates were used that last fight from Rogue, so not too much to work with though.
Look at their comp. This is something, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is something that EnVyUs did yesterday as well. I mean, look at the comp. How are you going to contest the ship at all? In what world
There's no way.
can you win that fight when you have Wins and Unko able to support AKM up top? And if you get anywhere close, they're just going to press you. And soon finding those kills, clutching out picks in the beginning of fights. I mean, Rogue just made that look easy, but EnVyUs, their composition made no sense.
That is going to be it. Rogue securing map number 1 here on Gibraltar in a just dominating fashion, especially on the defense there soon. Time after time with those pulse bombs, man. Just showing up here for Rogue. Of course, a best of 3 winners bracket finals, guys. This is not the grand finals, just the winners bracket finals. So EnVyUs, should they lose this series, still have an opportunity. But now we're going to be headed to Numbani, which again is EnVyUs' map of choice. So maybe an opportunity for them to battle back. But with how Rogue is playing here, I just don't see that happening.
Man, on Numbani, I still think that Rogue is going to be able to take this one. And it looks like I'm not feeding any caster's curses anymore, at least at this stage. But again, yeah, dominant performance there on Gibraltar. And I think, honestly, a lot went into just the composition that EnVyUs pulled out. I'm not sure what they thought they were going to accomplish with AKM, Unko, Wins up top as well, with that composition that was literally just catered to holding that high ground and not giving anything up with just backline up there. They didn't have actually even put anybody else up there with them. I mean, certainly we would have been able to see Nox get involved if that would have occurred, and Nico was in a position to do just the same because of the fact that he was on D.Va. So they had the option to actually push people back up there. It was really kind of only Soon that wouldn't have been able to make it up there and create like a 6v6 engagement. But I mean, it's not like at any point they would have need to be in that situation. By being able to create a 5v whatever on top of that ship, they really gave EnVyUs a tough time, especially considering the fact that EnVyUs' composition was never going to be up on the ship anyways. They never made that swap to be able to contest that, and they were just consistently trying to just battle their way through and get over to the point, and got shut down time and time again by Soon almost every single time, initially at least, with Louis chips being taken out by pulse bombs one after the other. And really stellar performance there from Rogue as a team, as a collective for sure, but also individually, definitely have to shout out Soon and AKM for sure.
And Cloud9 looked better than EnVyUs did against Rogue on Watch Point Gibraltar. And I think that's partially because Zephyr was able to provide that high ground threat of being on the D.Va to be able to get up there and kind of try to match AKM, to say the least there. So we'll have to see as we head to Numbani for the second map in this best of 3. And if EnVyUs will be able to push it to a game number 3 on Lijiang Tower, which even going there, I mean, I think that Rogue is at a massive advantage, especially since they 3-0'd Cloud9 on that map earlier today, which we both thought to be Cloud9's, one of their better maps, still proving not to be up against Rogue here. So we'll get to see as it will be on Rogue on defense to get things underway, which could mean this could be a very quick map. We'll have to see what EnVyUs actually wants to change up to try to combat these guys.
EnVyUs, I'm kind of expecting to be running that 2-2-2 setup as they typically do. Once again, introducing that Winston into that offense, and Taimu more than likely going to be bringing out that same setup. And I think Louis going to be going with the Genji. So Taimu expected to be on the Pharah. I don't think they're going to change anything up at all. And on the defensive side, shouldn't be any surprise that we see Nox on the Winston, and it's going to be a 2-2-2 for them, as Nico actually going back over to that D.Va. And I like this from him actually because of the fact that there's a very high chance that Taimu will be on this Pharah, and Nico will be able to kind of help shut that down if possible, with AKM providing covering fire as well.
All right, well, on the defense, it's pretty much expected. What we could see from Rogue here is this is just working for them time after time. Nico actually going to be on the D.Va this time around. A little bit of flex play coming out from him, but like you had expected, Taimu will be on the Pharah pick, and let's see if AKM can deal with him here.
That is that same composition. It's worked out quite well for them so far. I think they've stumbled maybe one time against their opposition that we've seen on stream, but now AKM is going to be who they're combating on this soldier, as Taimu just laying the rockets into that back corner on the coast and trying to back him off so he doesn't have a good sideline to work with. Expect AKM to kind of come out of that a little bit. if actually pressed. And Louis actually going to get taken down pretty low. He does get eliminated.
Nice shots coming out from AKM as well, as we do see. Oh yeah, they just jump off. There's no way they're going to be able to do anything. Coco as well. He's going to be taken down very late there. Not super late by any means, but already 40 seconds munched off that clock there from the defense of Rogue, who, you know, pretty solid start there, isolating, not even isolating Louis. It was all about Nox diving into the back line, AKM landing his shots.
Really good performance there from Nox as well. That's something you see from Rogue a lot, is their ability to just jump over and peel for their teammates. And that's why I think the dive works so well for them. That's why they're so consistent, is because you see AKM getting pressed by Coco, and it's just Nox was there almost instantly to provide that little bit of support, kind of body block a little bit of that pressure and push Coco off as well.
And way in the back, it's Nico picking up 2 kills for himself. I think he had a little bit of help there from Soon as well. He is actually forced out of the mech, but he took care of business on the Taimu and Chips. And basically, a minute 30 now off the clock. He's going to be very difficult, I think, for him to be able to find some shots to get back into his mech before we see Coco and company dive into this one. So I think M have the advantage because of that moving into this next fight.
But Nico, yeah, without that mech, it's going to be rough for them, as Taimu is just looking to get aggressive once again. And that's going to force Rogue back through this hallway, trying to get Nico his mech back, and Louis getting aggressive is just going to be eliminated so easily. What is he doing?
I'm not exactly sure. He thought he had support there from his teammates, but no, Coco is taking down Nox under a lot of pressure, but he's going to be okay in the end. And Nico now, of course, back in the mech, 72% on that ultimate for himself. A clean sweep again for Rogue, man. They do have to worry about the Resurrect in the next fight and a Dragon. Actually, pretty much everything is going to be coming up for both these teams in this next fight here.
As Nico was out of mech, wasn't able to get that self-destruct up at all. I mean, otherwise he would have been able to have it here, but everybody else will more than likely be able to use their ultimate in this next one. It will be determined by these two teams to see which of those come out, if maybe all of them.
The attack visor now coming out here from AKM. He has a nano boost as well, picks up 1 kill at the time. Who needs to deal with Chips? He's going to be taking down 3 kills. Comes through as Chips. No opportunity to use that Resurrect, as they don't use anything in that fight, and only 2 ultimates actually coming out from Rogue, so not at a big disadvantage in the next fight.
Especially given the fact that they still have wins with the sound barrier. They're still in a great position here. Look at them hiding right now. They're just going to try to steal even more time away, as they're just sitting back here looking to try to get into the backline, steal away some kills. They're speeding through. They're going to be able to find this kill onto Chip. They should be able to eliminate him easily.
Oh, Louis now with the Dragon Blade trying to turn this around. Can he find the kill? AKM going to be hit there by a couple swings of the blade. Looking for something else. Unco going to be dropped as well. Still, put Nox actually here with the Prime Wave. Just self-destruct from Nico. Picks up 2 kills, Yarks, and that should be a cleanup here coming out for Rogue. I mean, there are still a couple of people here for EnVyUs, but not a whole lot of threats in terms of damage. I don't like the fact that Coco popped the Primal Rage whatsoever here. He's going to be taken down, and they're going to have limited time to get a regroup.
And they won't have that Primal Rage too that they might actually want in this next one, but he's going to be eliminated, and they're going to have to speed him up very quickly and take a weird kind of disjointed fight if they want to get in this one. They still have that Resurrect, but that's it, Storm. That's all they have. They're making the swaps, Taimu and Louis swapping off.
Used it. I don't think that Resurrect has been used once.
No, it hasn't. They've been shutting it down too much. That flank was literally just to shut down the res so that they could secure this fight right here. That's definitely going to be in their favor, as they're going to be running through that little staircase where I don't see them making it.
No, Soon with the pulse bomb shuts him down. Still, Chips, no opportunity to use that Resurrect all game long. Self-destruct is out here trying to save the day. And not going to be the case as Coco hit with the bio grenade on point time. We're going to try to do something. Louis still up top with Harry Hook as well. They're both going to be taken down. 1.7% is all they can muster up on their own map of choice. Rogue truly showing who the best in North America are today.
1.7% on their map pick. The map that, I mean, obviously EnVyUs feels the most comfortable on and gets shut down. And I mean, I don't mean shut down as
such a monster.
Well, I mean, what happened there was just a collective response. It was just so good from the entire team. We saw them getting that flanking route, and they were able to take down Chips as a team, and then still able to take that exit and just switch places once again and get back up onto the point after taking that initial pick. I mean, EnVyUs didn't see that coming at all. I mean, they just got caught completely off guard, and Chips had nowhere to go because they hadn't set up for that. They weren't expecting it at all. And now moving on to the attacking phase, you have to remember, they don't need this first point, Storm. They need 1.8%, and that's it.
Yeah, that's not going to be hard at all. I mean, there's no opportunity to stagger back to the point. I mean, with 1.8 is all you really need right now. So This is going to have to be the best defense EnVyUs has ever really put up, up against Rogue here. Otherwise, they're going to end up dropping to the losers bracket finals. Of course, they're still in the money here, even if they do lose this. But that would, of course, propel Rogue into the grand finals to wait a couple of hours, of course, through the other matches that are still yet to come here. But still an opportunity nonetheless, as it looks like AKM and Unko maybe vying for that Farm Mercy setup.
Man, Envy falling pretty short here, as again, this is just one of those situations where I do not see this defense holding up. I just don't see it. Rogue should be able to push through, and I think probably on the first fight should be able to make this work for them, because again, all they need is 1.7%, so they don't even need to win the fight. They just need to push everybody off of the point, and I imagine EnVyUs is going to be able to contest it for an extended period of time. We probably won't see them actually losing the point until everybody's dead, but still 4 minutes to get 1.7%. Rogue should be able to do this.
Let's see if that's going to be the case here, as Louis on that 76 here needs to find a way to deal with AKM. There's a couple rockets way into the back, starting to move in here. Not a whole lot of pressure actually being put up just yet, but as we do actually see Soon now looping around the backside, he's looking for the flank up top here, looking for Louis and Harry Hook. There's a bunch of damage being punched out onto him. Forced to recall, is going to get to safety, but nonetheless, they are going to be pressuring this point pretty hard here, X.
Mickey finds that opening kill onto Wins, though, and still AKM putting that pressure out. He's going to get dealt with a little bit, but not all too much, as Unko is actually going to be eliminated, and that's going to be Envy making that first initial hold here and taking out 45 seconds in the process. Louis should find this kill onto AKM, and that's good news for EnVyUs here at the moment. Again, though, still a lot of time left for Rogue to come through and shift things back in their favor. They're going to be swapping Unko and AKM off. That's going to be to the Zenyatta Soldier 76 combo respectively. And I don't know, man. Rogue needs to kind of clutch this one out, but 1.7%, I think, still in a very good position to get this.
I think that was one of the most dangerous pushes, honestly, with even ult charge, and especially since we see the changes coming out from Unko and AKM, they're going to be at a disadvantage big time compared to Louis and company here. So given that, we'll see what's going to happen. They're going way into the back line right now. Nox and company all the way back, trying to pressure down Chips. Meanwhile, Nico picks up the kill onto Harry Hook. They lose Unko in the process, though. They do use the nano boost here, and it looks like it should be even trades for the most part, with EnVyUs coming out on top. AKM in a rough spot here, looking for Chips. Does he get the kill? He does get the kill. 2 kills for AKM here. Wins is asleep on the point, but there's not a lot of people left here for EnVyUs. It's Mickey and Taimu against the world. Nico coming through with a Dragon Blade. He's going to be able to find 2 kills for himself with AKM. That's going to be 1.8%, all they needed here. That is Rogue taking the series quite handedly 2-0 over EnVyUs, moving themselves into the grand finals.
Something you don't see all too often is a Winston losing out to a Genji when Winston had a significant health advantage. And he actually, I mean, Coco got a little outsmarted there by Nico. He kind of played into him a little bit. Nico landing a couple of shurikens right into Coco, and then actually just dashed through him, stole the health pack, and was able to find that killing blow into Coco and just dashed onto the point. Was able to secure it with the rest of the team. And again, really solid performance from everybody on Rogue, and they made this look easy. And I still think, though, that EnVyUs is a pretty solid team, and I expect that if EnVyUs somehow makes their way back into the grand final through the bottom side of the bracket, that we'll see a much closer matchup between these two teams, if they make it, because it's still going to be one of those situations where any one of those 4 teams that are still in this could very well go up against EnVyUs and actually take them down and move on into that grand finals potentially. But we'll have to see what happens, as EnVyUs now moving down Rogue, as probably everybody expected, moving into the grand finals now.
Well, that's actually going to be it from us today, I believe. The next match that's going to be coming up, guys, will be from Joshi and Jorosar. They're going to be doing Immortals up against Selfless in the losers bracket round 2, so they're going to be taking you guys through a few of those matches. Any last thoughts from you before we close this out here, X?
I mean, really insane matches today. Definitely enjoyed casting alongside you, Joe, and Rogue, of course, looking as good as we kind of anticipated. EnVyUs getting shut out a little bit more than expected, but definitely looking forward to the rest of these streams, as you guys are definitely going to be able to watch some stellar gameplay. Really looking forward to Joshi and Jorosar stepping up and taking over and taking you guys through the rest of the day.
All right, guys, we'll be back. They'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to head to a short break, and when we're back, it'll be Immortals up against Selfless. Don't go anywhere, guys.